Songwriter, author, performer, and now add to that resume, movie actress. We're welcoming Marshall Chapman once again to Outside the Book. Marshall, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Let's talk a little bit. You got a new book out. They came to Nashville.
This is true.
And you wrote it because, matter of fact, you said you had a quote from Robert Penn Warren in the beginning, talking about people who come to Nashville with a big dream. It's almost like
Right.
a big bubble on top of their head
That's
that says
the heart
dream.
of the book.
Yeah.
It's just, it's only when you're young that you leave everything you've ever known and go to a city where you know no one, which is, for
Yeah.
the most case, was true. And because you have a dream. And I've always been interested in that, and that's basically the heart of the book.
Well, and you speak from experience too, because you tell the story
Thank
of
you.
you getting off the bus and going to Nashville because
Yeah.
you're going to be a singer.
Well, and I sort of came in the back door because I went to Vanderbilt University, but I looked at it as, in my family, Barbara, going to college was not open for discussion. You were going. So I thought, well, fine, 4 years free rent. That's the way I looked at it.
And such is the case. But
And everybody says, well, of course you majored in English. I said, no, I majored in French because I didn't want anybody to know what I was thinking in English.
but now they know what you're thinking in English.
Yes, they
or
do.
maybe they question that.
Now she's writing books. Look
Now
out.
she's writing books. And you have a column, a regular column that you do for.
In Nashville Arts Magazine called Beyond Words. I have a column, and I'm writing for Garden & Gun, contributing editor to that magazine. And just recently I'm writing for W,
Oh,
which is,
nice.
yeah.
What do you want people, what do you want to say? What do you want them to
I'm a
hear you
musician,
say?
don't be fooled.
Yeah, exactly. You wear so many hats.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the wolf in sheep's clothing, in literary clothing here.
Well, speaking of literary clothing, you also extended your wings a bit in the movie Country Strong with Gwyneth Paltrow and Tim
Yeah.
McGraw. You had a role, a very
Well, I
prominent role
played
in
her
that
road
movie.
manager, and I'd never been in a school play. Junior high, grammar, never. And I don't know how I got that part, except I have been around some road managers in my day. So it was fun.
And so
was
it
fun.
helped to be.
She's very tall, and I'm very tall. So I think they wanted somebody that was actually taller than she was. So that may have helped. Plus, my character was described in the script as 50-something. I thought, I've got that covered.
Got it?
Good-hearted, covered. No nonsense, foul-mouthed.
They had your number.
Well, a friend of mine said, Marcia, you're going to have to clean up your act to be in this movie.
But now, would you do it again? Would you be in another?
In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah. But I was lucky because it was in Nashville, so I got to sleep in my own bed. The best thing is Chris and I have great insurance for the next 2.5 years.
Chris Fletcher, your
Yeah.
husband.
He's
Yes.
really impressed with me now.
I love it. But let's talk about the writing
Okay.
and the written word. They
All
came
right.
to Nashville. Are you wanting to just spotlight people who come there with their dreams? Do you think they still come? They're still coming every day,
Yeah.
right?
They come in,
These
they're getting off the
dreamers.
bus every day. It's a little bit more business-like now. They weren't. It was real wild and woolly. Everybody came in a different wave. But when I talked to the people that came in my wave, which was like the late 60s, early 70s, Rodney Crowell, John Hyatt, we were all coming to get away from our parents. I mean, this was Vietnam. This was, and sex, drugs, rock and roll, the women's movement. I mean, it was all going on. And we were all just wild as bucks, but we were innocent wild. It's different now.
It's different now.
I think if you're wild now and there's much more awareness about things, it's just different.
You almost can't be. You almost
yeah.
have to watch.
Yeah.
But is that a good thing or a bad thing, or just the
Just
nature of the
is.
beast?
Just the nature, just the way it
It
was.
just is.
But it was just so different. I talked to Miranda Lambert, 24 years old, and then everybody from 24-year-old Miranda Lambert to 75-year-old, when I talked to him, Willie Nelson, are in this book. I wanted it to be very diverse. Because when I first got the idea, I made a list of people I wanted to talk to, but they were all men older than me and from Texas. Because those were the guys that inspired
had
me,
done
and there
it.
weren't that many women songwriters. So I said, no way, I'm going to I made a real concerted effort. I said, I'm going to have women, so you'll notice about half of them are women. And then, I put Terry Clark lives across the street, and she's from Canada. That gave it a little international flavor. Had to get out of Texas. But I used to have a theory. I wrote a song on my first album called Between Carolina and Texas, and I'd never been to Texas, but all the songwriters I met, like Chris Christopherson and Guy Clark and Billy Joe Shaver and Willie and Waylon and let's see, Rodney Crowell, Guy Clark, Townes Van Zandt, the ones I really admired, it seemed they were all from Texas, and I had this whole theory that, well, it's because they don't have very many trees down there, because I was thinking West Texas. So they just have a direct line to where all the good stuff is, you know.
It falls from the sky.
It falls from the sky.
Continued success to you, Marshall.
Thank you.
And
That's
thank you
it?
for joining us.
We're
That's
done?
it. We're out of time.
Damn.
Indeed, Marshall Chapman from Outside the Book.
Bye.